forward against the game of the weekend. I think the last game against Montreal with the supporters and the occasion and the victory give us all a big boost, confidence. But we know it's early days. We know we've got a lot of work to do to get to the levels that we know we can. The clean sheet was probably the most important part of the victory for me last weekend. It meant that we had a really good solid shape, and I thought there was some really good performances. And what I really believe this week, and what I've said to the players, is I still think there's another 15-20% to go. We're a team that's just getting to know each other in terms of 3 or 4 players that have become starters. So it's exciting, but we've still got a lot of work to do. We need to be focused. In terms of the squad, we've got Leo is still out for this weekend, but we're hopeful it's not as bad as it's not a bad one, so we're hopeful that maybe the week after or soon he will be back. Robbie Robinson is progressing really well. He's touch and go for the weekend with Ascona, so we could have him back, which would be a big boost for us in the centre forward department. And everyone is really chomping at the bit to get going against, I think, one of the best teams in both conferences. You know what you're going to get. It's going to be a game where it's going to be diamond against diamond, which I think it's going to be an interesting tactical battle, and a coach who I think is an absolutely outstanding coach and a really outstanding guy as well. I think he represents the MLS really well, and he's always good to play against him.
This will probably be the first time that Julian starts against you. He came on in the second half of the game last year, but what have you seen from him that I guess in Philadelphia that maybe didn't work out here, and what has been so effective in transforming his game now?
Well, I think the big thing is the opportunities that he got to play. He never had any opportunities here to start, really, because of the players that were in front of him, and that's why we had to do the trade. And I think what we're seeing in Philadelphia was the reason that this club invested a lot of money in him. He's got opportunities. He's playing for a team that probably suits his style, and he works hard. He's a good finisher. He's brilliant in the air, and I think they signed him officially the day before we played them last year, so it meant that he came on against us. He's going to be the one, if we keep him quiet, then we're going to have a good chance of succeeding in the game. He's their main, probably, talisman in terms of a goal scoring threat.
Phil, you mentioned a few weeks ago about Gregor's contract, that he will sign a new contract. He's listed as a designated player on the team's website. Can you provide us an update? What happened? Did he sign the contract? Did he not?
No, he's not signed his contract yet, but I think we're nearly there. I think we're close. I thought he was our best player last week against Montreal. I thought he was immense. He's happy. He loves it at this football club, and he's my captain. And I think if you ask any player or any staff member in this building, if you ask any of them who's the most important player for this team, it's Gregory. He's the heart of the team, and I thought he showed that last week. And we're gonna need some big performances from him this year.
A quick follow-up on Jim Curtin. I was at the press conference yesterday, and he said he has a lot of respect for the job that you're doing here, talking about the culture from the outside. What does that tell about the work that you guys are doing here in Miami, that a coach like Jim Curtin recognizes what you're doing?
Well, it's nice, because I've always felt that we've never probably got the respect from outside the club yet, and I think in life you earn the respect. It's not given on a plate, so it's nice when you get people saying nice things about you. I think we're playing against a coach and a football club that's got a clear identity and culture. We've got our head of performance now, Garrison Draper, who was one of our best signings in the summer, who's come from Philadelphia and is carrying on the great work he did there and trying to implement a lot of the stuff there, because we knew that the culture that they had there. So Jim is one of those coaches that works to a clear identity. His teams are successful. They will be successful this season. They beat, for me, one of the top teams in the conference last week, 4-1 at home, which was a real statement performance. And I think what you get from Jim Curtin's team, you get a team that is going to be relentless, and they'll punish you for every mistake.
They have a tendency to challenge the center backs into mistakes. Saw that last week with the 2 penalties.
Yeah.
How do you sort of work on just a new tandem in Sergey and Chris together to emphasize that tiny little mistake can be the difference for them?
Well, they play on the mistakes. They play on the second balls. They put you under immense pressure. You've got Ure, Carranza, you've got Gazdag in behind as well. We're going to have to be really solid defensively. You know, we kept a clean sheet last week, and we were probably fortunate enough to keep that clean sheet. Drake had to make some big saves, and he will have to play to that level this week as well. And I think the good thing about last week against Montreal is that we played against 2 strikers, and we're going to be playing against 2 strikers again this week. We know what to expect from Philadelphia. You know, they very rarely cause you any surprises because they have a clear identity. But we're just going to have to defend well. We're going to have to be disciplined. We're going to have concentration. And I always feel against Philadelphia is that you can be in control of the game of football against Philadelphia with lots of possession, and you can be 2-3-0 down. That's what happened to Columbus, and that's the sign of a really great team.
Do you feel comfortable with the 4-4-2 diamond with no Campana and Joseph not 100%? Do you still feel comfortable that's the ideal formation for you guys?
Yeah, well, I think because they play a diamond and we play a diamond, I think it's going to be a straight shootout between diamond and diamond. And you know, we are committed to playing the 2 centre forwards. We're committed to playing with attacking players, and that's not going to change. That's not going to change.
With Leo out, though, have you been trying different guys in? Is it Coco's spot to lose right now? Where do you see that second striker coming from?
Well, I think what you saw last week, there was probably, from a visual from upstairs, there was probably not a too clear centre forward partnership. But what we did have, we had flexibility and adaptability around that. And I think with Stefanelli found himself up there a lot. He is like a second centre forward. He's almost like a 9.5. So we have that identity of playing 2 centre forwards with other players in behind. Now we've got Robert Taylor back, so he's an option to play in wide areas. I thought Coco played well last week. We've got Lassiter, who came on and won us the second goal. So we've got flexibility and adaptability within our system. But I think it's clear to see that we're going to be playing with men up front, and how we do that is probably going to change from week to week while Campana's out.
Is Robert 100% ready to play on Saturday?
I think we've got a choice to make in the next couple of days. He's not trained for 2 weeks. He's done some technical work with his former team in Finland. I think it's a big ask for him to start on Saturday, but I think he'll be involved. We have another scrimmage on Sunday, which will be good for him and good for some players. We've got Bryce Duke, who is pushing really hard to start games. We've got Kramashi starting pushing really hard as well. So you know, we're a team that's got many options, and Robert's part of our selection criteria and options.
As far as the coaching, did you have a chance to talk to Martinez and Campana at the same time, and now this new guy, Gregory, in the same position? How do you handle that? Talking to
Well, I think with not just the forwards, not with Joseph and Leo Campana and Gregory, you've got to communicate well with every single player in the squad. We've got a roster that's got real good depth that they all want to start. You know, we had 11 players that were really happy last week when we named the team, and we had another 11 to 12 to 13 players that were unhappy. We're going to have to be. We're going to have to rotate. We're going to have to keep this squad happy throughout the season. We're hopefully going to be playing over 50 games. So there's going to be plenty of games for these guys. But I think at the moment, I think what you have 12 to 14 guys that are really in top form. And then the others, it's up to them to really push from behind. And you know, we played FC Miami on Sunday, and we talk about 2 games over a weekend. The FC Miami game on Sunday, we were sensational. The boys that didn't play Saturday played Sunday. It's always harder to play without fans in than with fans. Their attitudes, their commitment, but their quality was really good. And they're pushing really hard for a starting position, and they will get their opportunities. You know, at the end of this month, we've got international fixtures in March when we've got MLS games. So we could have 3 to 4 players away. So we're going to have to keep players ready to come in, you know, for the Chicago game, the Cincinnati game. So everybody needs to be ready.
What was the score against Miami?
It was a good game.